I'm back. Again, I'm glad I'm finding humor in this. These are real life events. These are real life stories that actually happened to me. Some people may find what I'm saying disturbing, so viewer discretion advised. But welcome to Gaytopix, My Life. I'm your host, Kenny Cruz, and these are true stories. My life has been very difficult and it's very hard. And being here by myself, it just puts me in a whole another place. And it, why do people find something wrong with you, a way to avoid you? People's actions are basically my consequences, or the consequences of their actions are what I am, and a result of what they're doing to me. And how can someone be deprived love? We all love things. We all love, like me living here in New York City, I love walking on Riverside Drive with my dog. I love riding the M7 bus, to Columbus Circle and going to the Time Warner Building Mall and shopping in Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, playing handball at West 4th Street, or even going to Washington Square Park where NYU is now, or looking for souvenirs, or the latest advertisements in Times Square, you know, or going to a Broadway play, sitting in a third row, orchestra street seats. Let's talk about Sam. Sam is quite a unique man, and he doesn't know it. I don't even know if he's still around because it's been so many years have passed. But Sam was a very great influence in my life, and I put him in the category of what everyone is doing to me. He wasn't the most attractive man. He really wasn't. But he was the head surgeon on call at Beth Israel Hospital here in New York City. And what that meant was, because he was on call, he lived in New Jersey and he drove a Pathfinder. Because I remember being in a blizzard and him taking me from I'll get to that. So he was from New Jersey, and because he was on call and Beth Israel Hospital was on the Lower East Side of New York City, they give him the opportunity to stay in a hotel. And when I met Sam, I had done. I can't believe I'm saying this, but again, these are real life stories and real life events. These are true stories of what happened to me in my life. This is Gaytopix, My Life. I'm your host, Kenny Cruz. Remember, you're always in a mix with Gaytopix. So, I met Sam, and I had done some coke for the first time and at some club, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was around 42nd Street, and I went into one of the booths. The glory holes, but they were windows. So it was a window that opened up to a certain point where the guy would have to squat down and stick his dick inside so you can suck in. It basically worked out. Or you would sneak into the same room that they're in. But I had done some coke, and I was really horny, and I went into one of the booths, and there's this guy, and I suck his cock, and he tells me to meet him outside. I'm getting ready, I'm getting ready, like zipping up and cleaning myself off, and and he's talking to me through the thing. I'm glad I can find humor in this. But he's talking to me and I'm not really paying attention. So because he's talking to me, I think he's a weird guy. I don't know what he looks like. It's just no. I don't know what's going on. So I stay in the thing and wait for my time to, expire on the video because I'm not gonna put my money in there and just leave it playing. So I wait for the, $5 to run out, whatever it was. And then I end up leaving after the video ended, and he's standing outside waiting for me, and he talked to me, and he was a very tall man. I was 6'1", and I say I was because as I'm getting older, I'm losing height, so now I'm 6 feet, 5'11" and a half in some cases. But so I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm listening to the Whoopi Goldberg thing. So you see, that's a story that I'm getting major information from that I want to say, but I'm not going to say. But back to Sam. He was a very tall man, and so he was about 6 feet, and he was caramel colored, I would say, and he wore khaki pants and a gold tie and a white shirt and wore glasses. He didn't appear to look like a surgeon, but when after speaking to him, I knew he was very knowledgeable and intellectual, and it just made me like him and want to go wherever he was going. I became obsessed with him. I was like, oh wow, he's so gorgeous. Like, okay, whatever you want, I was also horny, so he invites me to his hotel, which was literally across the street and is the Westin of New York City, and on 8th Avenue and 42nd Street, and takes me to this beautiful room. And I've had this beautiful experience in there, like staying there for 3 nights. They have this service called whatever, whenever. So if I say I want like the first edition of Playboy magazine, they're going to get me a copy of it. I'm exaggerating, but they do things like that, and it was really cool to experience that. I also got to know Sam, and Sam was very lonely, and I felt really connected to him. And I think it was like the second night, maybe the third night. He says, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? What do I want to do? And he's like, "What do you want to do?" So I was like, okay, let's have sex. So we've had sex in the window, open, and everyone can see me, and it was quite a liberating experience. Yeah, that was really cool. But what was even better was that what he was asking me was, "What do you want to do?" He did not ask me that only time, but another time as well, soon later on, next week, I think it was, the following week. And I told him that I would love to go to a Broadway play. I would never forget this. I had seen Rent, like the original cast with Taye Diggs and Wilson Cruz. I seen the original cast, in school, and I was kind of intrigued by it. So I seen Rent like 8 times. I still have the playbills, 8 times, and I was like, I want to see a Broadway play. So he was like, okay. So when I met up with him, I'm thinking everything was fine, that we're just probably going to a restaurant to eat and stuff. And we're outside this theater where Aida is playing, and it was with Cynthia Erivo. Aida was such a magical experience. Like Cynthia Erivo playing, just made me want to actually get the soundtrack. So when I said that, he bought me the soundtrack. And it was on a CD. And I was like, okay, I like where this is going. So afterwards, we went to a restaurant and we had dinner. And he said, "Would you like to see me again?" So I said, "Of course I would, but I want to see this play." And I did. I got to go see Annie Get Your Gun. And again, when we got these tickets, because of course his job being the head surgeon, he had the money to afford the orchestra seats. So we would be in the orchestra set seats, like third row center was the closest I've been. And I think that was in Lion King. And I can see the actors spitting. So it was like, wow, they're spitting on the people with the instruments. But with Sam, I saw Aida, Rent, Annie Get Your Gun, Dracula, and there's a few others, but most of them, that the plays that I saw with him, if not maybe like one third of them, let's say I think it was like four plays that I've seen with him, and three of those plays, in the middle of the performance, he had to get up and go because he was on call with surgery. And it was the same thing when we would go out in a restaurant. And this went on for a long time. I would say like 6 months. And I, as it progressed, it became like literally whatever I wanted, I just had to ask, and he would comply. He paid my rent at one point, he paid my cell phone bill at another point. He bought me an outfit to a fashion gala, that Sean Puffy was holding, when he premiered his Sean John collection. Um, and that outfit was like $800. I was like, whoa. But I was so beautiful. I was so sexy. I was like, thank you. Then there was another time where, because of the blizzard, I'm not sure what blizzard it was, but it was a blizzard. And I, whenever there's something like catastrophic happening, I want to be in my house and in my own bed. And he asked me, let's relax and stay cool. And I couldn't. There have been other blizzards as well where I ended up staying at the hotel with him because it was closer to work. But this particular blizzard was very, I don't know, I just wanted to be in my bed. And he was really adamant about taking me, but he ended up taking me. And like I said, he drove a Pathfinder. And this was the first time I was in first time in a luxury car like that, and he was going through the snow plows like they were nothing. And he took me home, and I was very grateful for that, especially the fact that he had to go back. So he didn't stay in my house, So I was very grateful that he actually took the time out to take me home because that's what I wanted. And everything that I asked for, he would obliged. And I think that's because he wasn't the best looking of men, and I gave him something like that nobody else would, and I connected, with him on that. But what I found disturbing was within the time that we were together, every single month he would have off or go to training or something like that. And I think it's Thailand. And he would go to Thailand and have sex with the random boys in Thailand. And that to me was like, okay, wait a minute. If I'm your man, you don't need to do that, and that really affected me. And I, I was really bothered by it, but I still kept the relationship going because he gave me essentially anything I wanted, and I did. And they called me away to go to Kabul, Afghanistan, and I had to be deployed. And once I was deployed, it ended our relationship. And he never really said that we were boyfriends, but as I said, it kept going. So to me, if it keeps going, then it's working. So, it, you know, even though people have always denied me being in a relationship with them or having some type of relationship with them, you know, it still kept going. So I was very grateful that it kept going and wanted it to keep going. So I kept going and I kept doing it, you know. So, can you hear that?